In this episode, I'm going to change up the format as I will not be tackling a topic per se. Instead, I'm going to review a check-in video log I recorded months ago. It's important to me that the topics I share here on this channel are taken for what they are, my experiences and approaches that worked for me. While this entry is quickly edited, it was a pretty rough cut of an old man rambling. These are actually meant to be raw and actual footage of what I was going through at the time. This entry is dated April 5, 2022. It was at the lowest point of my unemployment. Today is April 5, 2022. I wanted to give a little bit of a snapshot slash recording slash update on where I stand right now. I've been unemployed for about 4 months. My last job ended in early January, but I've been working on and off of contract projects ever since. So what led to my current situation? Well, for starters, I'm a freelancer, and being a freelancer means occasionally running into lags in between projects, and that is the time when I start to use a lot of the techniques that I talk about on this channel. Up until early January, I actually had a pretty steady contract gig. The problem was that there was a massive culture change. So my plan at that point was to secure about a month's worth of projects and then exit the company. And so that's what I did. One of the issues that happened was that literally 1 or 2 days after my last day at that job, my projects got delayed. As far as my current state, the nervous uncertainty is real, but I'm not quite in panic mode yet. As far as bills are concerned, we're covered for a few months, but every check I write feels that much closer to the edge. The work search has been a little bit frustrating, mainly because there's been a lot of combinations of random instances and processes that take up a lot of time. Like, for example, I went through an interview process where on the first interview, it actually went pretty well. Then they asked me to do a code exam. And so, I mean, that's pretty natural. That code exam took me about a full day. Then it led to a second interview because they liked what they saw with the code. But the second interview was followed up with more coding questions, which I guess is fine because they want to make sure that nobody's cheating or that kind of thing. But then there was a third interview that I made it to, and they kept asking me coding questions. Where at that point I was just like, why wouldn't that have just been part of what came before? That one actually ended up being the end of that interview process, and I didn't get it. So that meant that not only did I spend a whole day, but I spent a few more hours for nothing. You know, it's a little bit annoying. And there's been other instances just like that. However, there's been a little bit of light shed on the situation. A connection of a colleague of mine that led to a little bit of work. It's a little bit inconsistent, but it's enough for me to get by. And so I've been working with them for the last couple of weeks. And it's turning out marvelous. I love working with them. Given the situation, it's important for me to keep a level head and keep an objective view. It's really easy for me to stay up at night and worry about things and kind of start to freak out and not be able to sleep, which then means waking up later the next morning and then throwing off my entire schedule. So a lot of the things that I talk about here on this channel has been like has been kind of my own guiding light. It works. It's really weird because it's my channel and I'm sending all of these thoughts out to you guys, but it's still techniques that still work for me. And so in times like this, I still fall back on all of these methods and approaches to being unemployed. The other thing that's been kind of worrisome is the ever approaching tax time. For freelancers, taxes are no joke. Sometimes it can be really bad. Luckily, most of last year, I was actually fully employed as a W-2. So when my taxes came back, which I had been putting off forever because of the aforementioned nervous uncertainty, um, it came back and it's actually not bad at all. It's better. In fact, it's better than it's been in years. So I have that to not worry about, thankfully. As for what I'm feeling these days, there's uncertainty, of course. I'm okay for now, but I'm getting a little bit nervous. Um, I have been having some nights where I have a really hard time falling asleep. Sometimes it's because of anxiety. Most times it's because I've thought about an idea for a project and I can't go back to sleep without solidifying that idea or figuring out a way to start on it. I've also been finding it useful to just take days where I just kind of sit and veg out. Sometimes this includes video games, sometimes it includes drawing because it's kind of a different activity for me sitting at my desk and programming. Other times it's literally sitting and watching YouTube. But mostly, I mean, when I do YouTube, it's usually researching. I'm trying to find what my next um, interest is going to be as far as like programming and such. And then there's what am I doing with my time? Well, generally speaking, I'm practicing what I'm preaching on this channel. I'm keeping myself busy, I'm staying productive, and I'm monitoring my emotional needs. My biggest priority is getting my paid projects done. If for some reason I'm not working on those projects, I'm spending my time learning a new framework that has clearly become one of the most highly requested um, qualifications in job postings. I also have a top secret, exciting project having nothing to do with this channel, but we're about halfway through the production of it, and it could lead to some revenue. So that's another priority for me. Speaking of this channel, I've run into a little bit of a snag, so I've been debating and thinking about a remedy for this, and there's going to be some big changes happening here. I still have a ton of content that I want to deliver for this channel, and more ideas for content keeps popping up every week. So I'm trying to come up with a faster way of processing these videos. Habitually, I do try to keep a consistent schedule, but I've been trying to give myself a little bit of mental leeway time in the form of video games and sometimes reading a book. However, sometimes my productive self gets the better of me and I end up working anyways. I guess I might as well repeat myself and say that keeping myself busy and keeping a consistent schedule are two of my main weapons against going stir crazy. The last thing that I want to say is if you're feeling uncertain, drained, directionless, and that your situation is dire and hopeless, believe me, I get you. I'm feeling that. The past 6 to 9 months has been quite the journey, and my future is still up in the air. There were days where I had to will myself to be productive. You'd be surprised at how much will get done if you can just put yourself in front of your work. Sticking to the concepts I talk about on this channel isn't always easy, but it certainly helps keep my mind off of my troubles and onto my well-being. Anyways, that's it for now. Please click that like button, press subscribe for more videos. But if you do, please be sure to click on that bell icon and select all in order to receive notifications as soon as I publish new videos. Anyways, that's it for now. As always, keep your chin up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.